Hello, hello. This is Sandy Doux from Doux Designs, setting up for a very fun time tonight. So I have a little bit of a project up my sleeve for tonight. So I'm going to use our Mom's Kitchen set, the Homegrown paper pad, and the mason jar die set from Scrappy Boy. So these are the three products that I am going to use tonight, along with some shaker bits from our shop. Um, these shaker bits from the shop, we're going to use those as well. I'm sorry I can't at the moment remember the name of it, but hey, you know, there's that. Hey, Evelyn. So as I was saying, we are going to use Mom's Kitchen Homegrown paper pad mason jar die from Scrappy Boy. I've already cut the pieces we're going to need, but I've never put it together, so I hope it's going to all work out. We'll see how that goes as we go along. I have our little bear, and I have our mama bear. Let me just fix the screen here real quick so we're straight. And then we'll zoom in a bit because we're going to color first. There we go. Hey, Janine, how are you? So I'm happy to see you guys here tonight. We are also going to, I used the label from the mason jar set, and it has a stitch around the outside, so I stamped it so we could color the sentiment as well. Hello, Tammy. So we have to color all three of these pieces, plus why not add some cookies? So I have some cookies here as well. And then I have cut out all the pieces from the die set right here, which we will go over in a little bit when we're ready to put everything together. So I haven't selected to make it into a card that opens up. I've decided I'm just going to make it as is, and it's going to be like a little gift pouch where you'll be able to put something into it. So I think I may use it. I think I have something in mind to use it for, so I'm going to create it in this fashion for now. So I also have another sentiment that I cut out. So we're going to go ahead and color these because we got to color these before we can do anything else. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. It's a good day. No headache today. That makes me happy. That's always a good thing. Let's see, what color do I want to color my bear? I thought about doing the bear. We could do a black bear or a brown bear, but we need to do them both the same because it's mommy and son or daughter bear. So I think I'm going to go with the E family and probably E27, 25, 23, 21. Thank you. I just got my nails done. They're all pretty, sparkly pretty. So I'm going to put this one aside and the cookies because we're going to work on the bears first. So we'll do the bears first. Brown. Okay, great, because brown is what I picked. So that is perfect. And we are going to color the bears both the same brown color. They might not come out exactly the same, but that's okay. And then I have me an R12 for the ears. And I think I'm going to grab the E29 as well because we need to do two tone on our bears. Like, I like to do around the face a lighter color than the rest of the bear. So I need these lighter colors in order to do that. So I'm going to start with that part first. So we're going to use E23. Hey, Drea. And we're going to start with just going around this area right here a little bit to start coloring in this part of the face. So just putting a little circle around it. It's going to look funny at first, but just give it a little bit of time and it will come together nicely. So there we go, a little bit there. We're definitely going to use this marker some more, so we'll just put that aside. And then I'm going to pull from where I put that darker color onto the front of the bear's face so I can blend it and kind of mix it together. So I'm going to just soften those edges a bit. So I tend to call that working the line, the little line that shows the darker color into the lighter color. I kind of call that working the line because you have to kind of go over it several times to really soften it up. Hey, Reagan. I used your affiliate link today. I went shopping. Don't tell my husband. He said from the other room, I heard that. Dang, I gave myself away. I needed the LV handcrafted die number 3 because I only have number 1 to cut out my LV handcrafted stuff. So I had to have that. I hope you found all the good stuff. I did. You know, they're out of a lot of paper pads, which made me a little bit sad because there were several of them that I would have loved to have had, but they were all sold out. So I'll have to go back and shop again another time. I'm going to do the tongue and the ears a little bit with this R12 just to get that, that pink in there. And we'll just let that sit for a bit, and we'll blend that out when we're ready. Hi, Beth. So happy you guys are here for this little berry fun. Reagan had a class. We did a live, Monday Night Live the other night and did bears. So I guess I was still feeling the bear mood and decided to do the bears. But honestly, I think that the reason I chose to do the bears tonight was because I really wanted to play with this mason jar die that I haven't used yet that I got from Scrappy Boy. And I really, really love this die. I mean, I fell in love with it the first time that I saw it. And I just have not played with it yet. So I cut all the pieces and thought we could play with it tonight, but honestly, I have never put it together, so I'm not really sure that I have all the pieces right. So just bear with me if it doesn't go as smoothly as I'd like it to. I hope it will, but you never know. You know, pretty good sometimes at looking at something and figuring out how it works, but you just never know. So I am going to use a technique that I got from Drea the other night at Happy Crafty Ho Ho. So at the late night crew, I'm going to use something that she suggested that she got from, oh, what's her name? She got the technique from someone else. It'll come to me, I promise, and I'll tell it as soon as I think of who it was. Or Drea's here, and she'll be able to tell you who it was that we originally got the idea from. But it is exciting. I'm so excited. Jennifer McGuire, that's right. That's right. It's the Jennifer McGuire technique. I did it the other day on the new release that we have coming up this weekend on Saturday, and I made some sample cards and I tried the technique that she recommended, and man, it's a deal changer. So since I'm making a shaker card tonight, I want to do it because I really, really like how it turned out. When I did it, I was telling Dale, wow, how the heck have I never thought of this? It was just genius. Um, but we'll go over that here in just a little bit. Um, Reagan said, I went live on YouTube earlier and finished the rest of Kendra's card challenge for KCC 22. That is amazing. I dropped my cap on the floor. So, sorry, I had to bend over. I got a new chair from my husband for my birthday a little bit early, and it sits significantly higher than my last chair, so I've had to try to get used to that. And when I drop something, it seems very far down there where it didn't before, but it does now. It seems like it's very far away from me. Hi, Tamara. So I don't want to make this bear too dark, so while I am using E29 and E27, I'm also using it kind of sparingly, and the next couple of colors I'll be using a lot more of those. But I'm using these lightly because they are so dark, and I don't want my bear to be so dark you can't see the facial features, but dark enough that you see the shadow areas. So don't be afraid to go a little bit darker with your markers, because that's where you get that wow factor, that impact, by having that dark shadow area. And I know it's scary when you're coloring, especially when you color dark to light, to put that really dark color in there, but try it, because I really think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So try that for sure. I do get the question a lot, you know, people color really good and then they ask, you know, what can I do more? How can I up the game? And most of the time, my suggestion to them is that they just need to use a little bit more of the darker colors, because that's where you get the pop of color on your paper. So don't be afraid of that. Just give it a go. Try it out. You can always test it. You know, just don't do it for the first time when you're doing a live, just in case. You need to play around with how dark, how light. But I've done this for so long now that I'm not afraid of the dark colors at all. And I know just about how far to go with each dark color in order to not make the image come out too dark. So that's just practice. And you'll get there too. But you have to put that dark color in there, because it's necessary. It's necessary for the beauty. Okay. Those are the darkest colors that we put in there. Now we're going to go into the E25, and this one is going to be the color that we're going to do most of the bear with. This is what I would call like the true color of the bear, because I will be giving it most of this color. With just the next one will be highlight. So this will be more of the true color. Now I'm going to build that little fence around the eyes. That's what we call it when we go around them like this, to keep me from coloring into the eyes. I call that a little fence. Built a little fence to kind of try to protect from going into the eyes with the dark colors. And I do that kind of often if I'm concerned that I might color within. an area I don't want to. It's just kind of a reminder mentally for you when you're coloring to say, you know, hey, I put this line around there because I don't want you to color past that point. So it's kind of a reminder fence, if you will. I don't want to color inside the mouth, so I'm going to go around it. I'll push out a little bit from it so I don't go too far or too close. And then that kind of starts getting us our bear look. So let's put some on the arms. We may not use the E21 for the bear skin just because I think we'll be light enough with E23. Sometimes those decisions are made as I'm coloring, like I'll pull the combination, but then judge it as I'm going along. How much do I need? Do I need it to be lighter or darker? And I'll add the markers or subtract the markers based on that. So there she is in her beginnings. And now we're going to move to our little, I'm going to call this a little boy bear just because it doesn't have a bow on its head. I think if I wanted to make it a girl, I'd put a little bow on her head. But I think we're going to go with a little boy bear for tonight. Unless these little embellishment bows that I have will look good in the hair, and then maybe I could switch to girl mode, but we'll see. Gonna go over this again just so I can smooth out that line up there. And it's okay if one of the bears ends up a little bit darker or a little bit lighter than the other bear. I don't do very well at duplicating exactly what I did before. Everything is unique. Every time I color, I can get similar, but I'm never going to do it exactly the same because as I'm coloring, I'm evolving what I'm doing. So I will always change it up a little bit from one to the other. And I know I can't just replicate stuff over and over exactly the same because I once did wedding invitations and I colored 100 of the same bride and groom image and each one came out just a teeny bit different, something different on each one. It's maybe the flowers were a little different that were in her hair, or maybe her skin tone was a little lighter or darker, or, you know, it just depends on what kind of mood I was in or what I was feeling at the moment I was coloring that one, or how much ink came out of the marker, or so forth. You know what I mean. You guys are with me. You know what I mean. Sandy, I love last night's girl pigs. Where did they come from? Oh, they are from CC Designs. I'm not sure they still have them. I know it was an old set, so if you like them, they might be in the clearance section, or they might not have them anymore. But I love that little girl pig. She was so cute. If you guys want to know which one I'm talking about, I'll have to look it up to see if it's available. But I can show you which one she's talking about because I have it right here. So it's these little pigs. I did them in rainbow so that, you know, it says happy birthday from all of us, and I wanted them to look rainbow, so I colored them like that. But I don't know if they're still available. You'll have to check and see. They were just called Piggies. That was the name of the set, Piggies. But I love CC Designs, especially Roberto Rascal's images. So it's not unlike me to pull out one of those sets because I have just about every one that he ever did. So Some of his older stuff I don't have, but all the new stuff, yeah, I'm addicted. Just like some of you are addicted to the Doux designs and been with me since the beginning, have them all. I have them from from even us artists have our favorites that we follow as well. And Roberto Rascals is one of my favorites. I do have others, but he is definitely one of my favorite artists. And has been for a long time. They do not have them. Oh, I'm sorry. I know they had them a while back. I don't think they had them in stock for a really long time. I think they went kind of fast. You don't see them on the site now, then they don't have them. I'm sorry. They are super cute though, that is for sure. I hadn't colored with them yet, and I do like to pull out some of the stuff that I haven't colored with before and play with those at the late night event. So that's probably what happened. So there's my bear, that bear done, and now we're gonna finish this bear. So I'm just kind of going back and forth to get that colored in, and then I'm gonna have to work that line where the dark color meets up with the light color to get a little bit of a smooth look. I'm going to go over this and around, trying not to touch the eye. Sometimes we pull and sometimes we push when we color, and what that means is sometimes if you start where the darkest color is and you go into the light, that's called pulling the ink. That's a technique. And then sometimes when you're in the white area that hasn't been colored yet and you're coloring towards the color, that's pushing. So pulling and pushing. And I change that up depending on what kind of effect I'm trying to get out of the image. So I will change that up on occasion. With this, I'm just going to blend this in the top of the ear. I want to show that pink a little bit more than it did on the girl, so I'm going to use 21 on the inside of his ears instead of the 23. And I'll probably go back to Mama's and add a little more of the pink just to bring that pink back out. We're going to finish his legs. I'll just put the color in there and then I'll go back and work those lines to smooth them out. You don't want to do it too much because this marker has more colorless blender. But if you do it just enough, once you start seeing it blending together, then you can stop and it'll finish the blend itself. There we go. So now we have girl and boy. I'm going to use E21 within the ears. Yeah, I like E21 better. Makes for a little bit more pink ears than brown, and I like that. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of the pink in Mama's ears to kind of bring that pink back out, but it is pretty dark because I put the 23 instead of the 21, but still cute, just a little different. Okay, so that's the basic part. We now have our little bears done. We will need E23 for our cookies. So while we're on brown, let's go ahead and do our cookies. We're going to need the E29 and the E23. And then I'm going to add E35 to the center of those colors to kind of get a lighter color cookie. I don't want it to be like a burned cookie, so I'm going to start with E35 and see if that's going to be dark enough for me around the edges. If you like a little bit darker cookie, You might use 25 instead of 35. And I'm not going to do this part right here because he took a bite out of that already. And I'm going to do all of them the same so the cookies look the same. They're a little harder to color because they're already cut out, but as long as you hold it with one finger and color with the other, you should be good. A little bit harder for you guys to see, so I have to hold the marker back, further back, which gives me a little bit less control. So the closer up you hold the marker, the more control you'll have. Hey Cheryl, I chose the E29 for the chocolate chips. So we're going to use E23 next. And we're going to try not to go in the chocolate chips, but if we do, it's okay. I'm going to do this a little bit light, like not filling it in solidly, because we're going to use one more color, probably maybe E33 to finish that off, and it will lighten the color just a little bit. And then we'll come in with do the chocolate chips. This is just going to give it that cookie look. And I like this scattered because then you're getting two different colors, and when they mix together, it looks really good. So let me see if it'll come in a little bit closer. Yeah, there we go. So I'm really just kind of going around the chocolate chips, and I'm not really doing a smooth color. I'm just kind of doing a dabble a little bit. Dabbling my little pen here just to get a little bit of ink in there. And then we'll come back with E33. And we're going to start back over where we were. And now what we're going to do is touch again like we did before, but on all the white pieces. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to touch all the white pieces to fill that in. This is a lighter color, so it should give it a little bit of texture, but if it doesn't, then we can use the colorless blender, which this one doesn't look like it did too much, so maybe I should have used E31, but we can use the colorless blender to make the same effect. And it's okay if you get this really light color in the chocolate chips because they're going to be dark brown, so they're going to work out just fine. We need to get all these white spots. There we go. And we're going to come along and do this cookie as well. I mean, you would normally think, well, wouldn't it just be easy to just go swipe over top of it and just color in all the white stuff? But then you don't get any texture to it. And we don't want that. We want texture. So here's the colorless blender, and I'm just going to go around the cookie and just do dots. This is going to move some of the ink around and give a little bit of texture like what I was trying to build with the lighter, darker color. And I'm just going to do that kind of everywhere a little bit. The more you do it, the lighter it'll get. So I don't want to do it too much. If I need to come back in, I can do it some more, but I think I've got enough in there. And as long as your marker isn't dry, this technique will work really well for you. Okay, now all I'm going to do with the chocolate chips is go in with this E29. You could just color them all the way in, or you could do the side of them, and that'll give it a little bit more highlight look. So we're going to do that. It takes a little bit longer, but I like the way it looks. And it doesn't take too much time. And I'm not doing the dark shadow area in any specific order. I'm just putting a little bit on each chocolate chip. And I'm not doing them the same as the other one. Again, just however it works out, it works out. And I'm going to roll with that. I'll come back in with the 25. Or maybe the 23. If I really want to be able to see these highlights, I probably should come in with the 23. So we'll go with the 23. Now what we're going to do is just kind of dot in that area so we don't wash out that dark part of the chocolate chip. And just add the chocolate on top of it. If you want your chips darker, use E25. But I kind of like my chocolate chips the way they are. So I'm going to leave them just like this. He's got a few cookies and he took bites out of every cookie. You see how that is? He just doesn't want anyone else to get any cookies. And he's already put his mark on every cookie. There we go. Now we have 3 chocolate chip cookies. Don't they look yummy? They make me want chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so for the background pattern paper, let's look at what I have used to cut out for the die cuts. So I have what looks like the different jars in the pantry. There's 2 of them. I'm grabbing the other one. So this one will be on the front and this one will be on the back. So this one is the one I could use the berry preserves here, which is the reason I like the mason jar, because it has the berries in it. And then I'm also going to use this purpley pink paper as well. It's really the flip side of this, because they usually match really well together, the flip sides. And then we're going to color her to kind of match the whole scene. Now, the dough that she's cooking right here is more cookies, more cookie dough. So I'm going to go in with that E23 or E35. We did E35 first. I'm going to go in with E35 and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the dough. And then I'm going to grab this 23 and add just a little bit more. It's going to kind of darken up the cookie dough a little bit where I overlap it. And then we'll come in with that last color, that E33, and just, wrong end. And just, this time I'm pushing away from the color. It'll keep a lighter area at the top. And now we have our cookie dough ready. Now all we have to do is color up our little girl and our little boy in whatever colors we want to match. I think I want to do him in a little bit of a reddish color due to these reds right here. But I also want to give him a little bit of this, like almost like a tan taupe color with a little bit of yellow. So I think what we're going to use is, we're going to use E44, E43, and then we're going to throw just a little bit of Y32 with those 2 colors. So we're going to make the collar, like the trim of his outfit in this light color. It doesn't look so light right now, but it will. And then we'll do his shirt actually red. Part of this red preserve color. So I'm just blending out the E44 with the E43. And it looks more tan-ish, if you will. But then we're going to add this Y32 to just bring a little bit of yellow to it. So I'm going to go over the other color and then blend together so we get a pretty good, almost like a golden color, kind of, which I think will match this background really well. Now, since I'm doing this red, I want to start with the lighter area so I don't pull any red into my yellow. So that's why I started with that one. I ended up liking that color so much, I think I'm going to do her apron in that color as well. So we're going to do her apron the same as we did the outside of his shirt. I like them to match, even though one's going to be on the front and I think one's going to be on the back. So I don't even think that they're both going to be on the same side, but I still want to keep their colors consistent. That's a personal preference. You can do it however you want on yours. I know a bunch of you have these images, so you could be coloring with me or after the live when you watch the replay. I'm going to use a little bit of shadow right here since that bowl is over the front of her outfit. And then I'm going to come down here and put a little bit down here. It's the only part of her that's going to be in this color. I'm going to do her hat, what is that word? My brain is going blank. I'm going to use her little scarf over her head. I'm going to match to her dress. You love watching first and then trying it out? Yes, I'm the same way. I feel like if I see it done, then when someone's talking about the steps, when I'm ready to color after I've already seen it, I know what it's going to look like when it's done, and that kind of helps guide me through the whole process. So it's not disappointing to me if people aren't coloring along, because I know that they'll color when they're ready to try it. So I'm going to go along this whole bottom with this color. And then I'm going to brush it up just a little bit. I'm going to leave an open space so I have a little bit more of that yellow in her dress. But I want to work a little bit on that shadow area to kind of soften it up. So I'm going over it a second time. And it's great because we upload these videos to YouTube, which we're looking into moving, not completely to YouTube, but moving to more videos on YouTube as well, not just from Facebook to YouTube. So we're kind of looking into that right now, hoping to do that a little more in the near future. I kind of like this. This almost makes her apron look a little bit dirty. Since I'm adding yellow, I want to go over the brown as well, because this is changing the tone completely. So you can't just put it in the white area without going over the brown. Otherwise, it doesn't match up and it just looks funny. Now this is a significantly lighter color, so if we can't get this line to soften up, we may need to do tip to tip, which is okay. It's never a problem. You can do tip to tip from different color family markers, so I can take this E43 that I used earlier and this Y32 and just use the lighter color onto the dark. And then we can blend these together. Look a little funny right off the bat, but don't worry, it will blend it together the way that we need it to. See, that worked. A little bit more smooth than the other side. So we're going to do that over here as well. I start off by putting it on the darkest area and then pulling it out to get that to blend together. I'm going to do it just a teeny bit more coming from the bottom so I can get that color to smoothly blend. So it's smoothly blending a tan color with a yellow color, but you can do it. You just have to work it. So there we go. We have it. It looks like she has a shadow right here. That's perfect. That's what I wanted. I'm going to go over this one more time because it's lighter than the bottom since we added that extra color to it. So I just want it to look more consistent. And then I'm going to grab a scratch paper because once you pick up that other color, you want to make sure you wipe off the tip of your marker. and then you're good to go. I like that color. It's pretty golden and it matches. Look at how close that is too. It matches really well. Okay, now we want to do his little shirt in red, and I want it to be brighter red like the preserves. So I think I'm going to go with the R39, 46, and then 35. It's kind of a jump around, but R39 will be dark, but it's definitely more of a pinky red than using R59. It kind of looks like honey. Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, it's a good color. I just discovered that Y32 with these tan colors recently, and I really like it. So I'm gonna put, I feel like because this one has a pink base versus the 59 that has a darker red base, will give it a more preserved look, like strawberry. So I choose my red colors based on what I know they are going to come out in the end. And the 30s I always use for like a berry or something. I wouldn't use it for a fire engine. I would use the darker colors for a fire engine. But I do try to put this R46 if I want a real red in there, because it's my favorite red color. I use it a lot with a lot of combinations. I'm going to go down the side and kind of bring this out. The R35 will blend these together so they'll look great in the end. But it's definitely more of a pinky red. Oh, I need to clean that marker. It's dirty. Okay, this is a coral. It's called coral, but it's more of a pinkish red. But it's definitely lighter than the other colors, so you do have to kind of work. Like, watch the combination. You'll have to work it just a little bit. So the back and forth kind of blends the dark with the light. And it just does it so beautifully. You don't even have to work hard for this one. It just kind of blends it all out very nicely. So I really like that. I think that goes really well with the jars. Matches pretty good. I think for her, I think we're going to make her bowl red. She needs a wooden spoon though, so let's go back to the E35 we did earlier, because I'm going to make her spoon a wooden spoon. So I'm going to put this 35 in there, and then I'll come back with the 33 and just kind of blend my little wooden spoon out. I'm not going to put any lines in my wooden spoon. I'm going to leave it smooth. I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to do her bowl in the same color as his outfit, but I'm going to put the dark around the rim all the way so that it's kind of like the bowl is a two-tone color. So it's going to have just the dark color on the outside. Adorable. Thank you. And then 46, I'm going to put that around the edges. I'm also going to put it in these little dip edges here where the cookie dough is. And then I'm going to go around the outside on this side and kind of brush stroke in a little bit. And then around her hand. And then we'll come in with that last color and finish that little bowl off. Because I think I'm going to make her outfit in purple. Because purple and red look really good together, and there's purple colors with some pink in this, and I think it'll just go really nicely together. So I'm going to grab my favorite purple combination. We are pretty much done with him. We'll have to do his eyes with the multi-liner, but I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm going to start off with making her collar all one color, so it's going to be that V09 to give that really dark outline to her collar. And then we'll just add a little bit of this dark color in a couple of places because I don't want this to end up being a really dark purple in the end. These are just my shadow colors. And we're going to do her little headdress here the same color. So I'm going to make the knot and these lines in this dark purple. And then underneath her ear, just a little bit, we'll do this artist drawn line right there and right there. And a little bit behind this ear. And then I think we'll just leave it with that. Not too much color, just a little bit. Then we're going to come in, we'll do a little bit more with this V17 because it's not quite as dark as the V09. And we'll just push out, or pull actually, from where this color is. I'm going to wait on the inside of her shirt for the next color because it's going to turn a little bit on the pink side. A little bit here. I think we'll do a little bit around the bottom with this color. And maybe we'll do a little bit more on the headdress with this purple. Kind of start getting some of that purple really in there. Maybe right around her face. There we go. Now we're going to change to V06 because V06 has that pink tone from this in it. And it kind of changes up that purple to a purpley pink. It's still going to be purple. I'm going to do this whole inside of her shirt in this one color. We only have one more marker to do highlights with, so most of it will have this color in it. So along the bottom of her dress. And then we'll work this. I'm going to finish the knot. I'm going to go around the outside of her little headdress here. I'm going to finish this one off that's in the back that you can barely see. And then we're going to keep extending from where we put the purple the first time. Just like this. We'll leave a little bit right there on the top for that darkest, for that highlight color. So we'll just kind of let it go right there. You guys are quiet tonight, but I'm talking a lot, so that's probably why you're quiet. V15, this is really a tutorial video for sure. We haven't gone off on any little rampages of discussion. But if you want to chit chat and do that, you can join us here and after my video on Happy Crafty Ho Ho, because that's where I'll be over there hanging out. So we're blending that out. We're going to blend this part right here too. I'm going to do it in that back and forth motion so that I get smooth blend. Work the line if needed. Then I'm going to add some to these little parts right here. And that kind of finishes it up. I did notice that I didn't do, like I missed the last color on her neck. So there's a little bit of what looks like white right there. And I'm just going to fill that in real quick with my E23. Okay, so we didn't use too many markers tonight. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So I'm going to grab my multi-liner first. And I'm going to do her eyes because they really need it. I'm going to do his eyes as well. So we're just going to do this part of the eye. I'm going to go around the white area, both of them. And then I'm going to fill in the rest with the black. And as you can see already, right from where you're looking, it makes a huge difference. On this particular image, I'm going to do her little eyelashes again, just because I want them to stand out just a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the inside of her eye again. Just going all the way around. And then around the white part so I don't go into it, building that little fence. And then color this in. You could do her nose too if you wanted, but I feel like it's good enough. I really just wanted the eyes done. And sometimes I put a little color in the eyes, but I decided not to do that tonight. It's just, that's just a personal preference. You can do it if you'd like. It's just, I usually do, and so I thought I'd do things just slightly different tonight. Now I'm going to do this one. He's a slippery little sucker here. He's kind of moving around with my pen. There we go. Alright, so now those parts are done. Now we will have to come back and do the white gel pen. I'm going to leave that out so I don't forget to use it. And look, we missed something. We missed the bowls. I'm glad I didn't put the markers away because we're going to stick with making the bowls the same color as that one. And I'll probably make them, I'll probably start out with them the same as I made the other ones. So completely the darkest color around the edges and around the bottom. And then we'll lighten the bowls as we go up. These particular bowls, sometimes I like to do them in different shades and make each size bowl a little bit different color. But tonight we're going to make them all the same. So I'm just going to be careful as I go around. There we go. Now these little areas right here that are inside, they're shadowed, they're small, they're inside. We're just going to make those the dark color as well. Some of us might be quiet because they are shopping. I say they because not me, of course. Yeah. I believe that. Okay, R46, I'm going to go right here just to give a little bit darker within the bowl. And then also I'm going to go here. And then right along where the bowl is overlapping from the bowl below it. Do the same thing on the next one. And then this one, I'm going to do both sides of the bowl. I almost forgot about these. And then I'm also going to do a really fine line underneath the lip of the bowl. And then the last one is the R35, and I'm just going to blend that. I'm okay with leaving that line on that part because I want to kind of highlight that there's shadow there. I'll blend this one a little bit better. So I don't want it to look quite as much as the top one. And then we're going to blend these. And then we'll have our nice little bowls all done. So there are the bowls. I kind of feel like the edge of the bowl needs to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go over it one more time to deepen the color. Especially since it's dry, it'll make it one shade darker. And I think that'll help between the variants in red. I think I'll go over the one Mama Bear has as well. So I feel like it just needed a little more umph. See, doesn't that look better? It makes that bowl stand out a little bit more. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, just so we get that same variation. There we go. Perfect. All right. Now, are you guys excited? Because this part is going to be so cool. Reagan, I just finished decorating my KCC 22 cards and repairing a mini album that got blown over and hit the ground at the farmer's market. I had to put some book corners on it. One on the corners got dented. Oh, I'm glad you were able to fix it, though. That is awesome. Okay, I'm going to refocus here, and then I'm going to show you all of the pieces I have. Now, I'm going to keep my gel pen out because, like I said, we're going to do the white gel pen, but in a little bit. So I cut a bunch of these pieces out of that die set, and I'm going to show you that die set again. So it's the Scrappy Boy Mason jar die set. So you get, this is the one that has the etching around it. And when you flip it over, there's two more sizes. There's this long strip, this is the top, there's the word homemade, and then there's extra little dies. This is the one that I used to make the label. And these are straws, so we'll get to that. And then there's ice cubes if you want to use those, and lemon or lime, however you want that to be. And if you want to put boba balls in it, you can use that. But let me show you how these large dies work, so you know how to layer them up, because it was a little tricky. So if you take any of these three dies, if you cut, let me get down to these bottom ones. Okay, if you use this one that has, see the etching around the edge, if you want that etching, you use this one. And when you use this one, it also does a little score line right here to show the bottom of the jar. It's very subtle, but this die cuts this. And then there's, if you don't want the etching, there's this die, and it just cuts it plain with no etching around it. And then this die right here, the other one, is smaller. So I cut that with the pattern paper. It's smaller than the other die. But then you say, well, how do you get this one, right? Where the center is cut out. So in order to do that, I had to take this die, or this one, whichever one you wanted, if you want etching or not. And you have to place this die inside, like that, and then die cut. And when you do that, it will cut you this, because it will cut the outside and the inside, so you'll get that border facing die that you want, that outline die. I also use the die to cut my little acetate. So I just used this plain one with no etching. So you get these dies, but you can play with them in all different ways, you know. So what I did was I took them, I cut, this is foam tape, the dimensional tape, and I cut two of those, layering up these two dies. I cut two foams so I could put them together and make a shaker box. I wasn't sure if I wanted light purple or dark purple, so I cut one of each of those, light and dark purple. And then I cut several of these in case I mess them up. So I cut one with the etching only, without that inner piece in there. So one of these, and then I cut two, one in each color of this one. I don't know what color I want to use. We're just going to play with that as we go through it. For this small piece, I cut two of them out of one sheet of paper from our Homegrown paper pad. It actually went together like this, was the paper pad, and I cut one side and the other side. So I would have two, one for front and back. And then there's another die in this set that goes like this right here. And I cut that out of this paper. So it does all the score lines that you're going to need in between and on the sides. And we'll go over how to do that piece in a minute, but that's what that one is. This is the word homemade. The H doesn't cut with the rest of the word, so just be ready for that. You have to do them separately. I cut them 3 times and layered them so it would be a thick sentiment. So the H is separate, so we can't be losing the H. Then on the back, there's straws. I chose the curved straw because I just think the curved straw is really cute. So I cut 2 of the curved straws. And I cut them the opposite ways so that when I put them together to make them sturdy, I'll have the purple color on both sides. So I cut 2 of those because I want my straw that's going to be sticking out to be sturdy. Okay, then I also cut 2 of these. This is the top of the jar, and it really does put all that etching in there. I don't know if you can see that being glitter, but look, it really looks like a lid. And I did 2 of those in case I wanted to put one on the front, one on the back. I wasn't sure, so I did it. Extra. Just in case, because who doesn't need extras? What if I mess something up? Then I need extras. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. All right. So now here's all my pieces, and we're going to try to put this together. I also have the shaker bits from our shop that I'm going to use inside, and they are purple as well. So let's decide right now. I think I'm going to use, since that's the only one with the etching, I guess it's not, I'm going to need that for the back panel. So if that's the case, I'm going to want to use this one on the front. So they would stay the same. So I'm going to need to put one of these on the inside. So this is going to go on the inside. I'm building what the inside of my shaker is going to look like. Now, I want the straw on the inside, but I don't know if I don't want you to see it. So I might put it like this. Because technically what we're doing is we're building a scene that's going to be inside here, and if I put that straw in there, it's going to mess it up. So I want to put it behind the panel. And I know you're going to be thinking, well, you're sort of layering that up. How are you going to get the shaker bits in there and with all this stuff in there? But just trust me, we're going to get there. This is part of the reason I use the new technique that I got from Drea, and she got from, you know, she said it earlier. I don't know why that girl's name won't stick in my head, but all right, come on, sticky, sticky, sticky together. So I need these two straws to stick together, so it's like one straw. All right, I want purple on both sides. So I'm going to use my soda press to just burnish that together so it stays really nicely. I want to put it behind because I want my straw to stick out, but I don't want to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this. I'm going to stick it right here. Hopefully I'm layering this up correctly. We'll soon find out though. Then I'm going to put this one over top. And I'm not going to pop it up because it's going to be a shaker, but I am going to put really good amount of glue around the sides so we can get it to lay as flat as possible. So I put a little more glue than I normally do on there just to make sure it stays really good. So once I get it in the spot that I want it, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to press it really good with my soda press all around it. That's why I love this little soda press. That will get it as flat as it's going to get. Okay, next, hi Phyllis, Jennifer McGuire, thank you. See, what would I do without you? I just don't know. All right, so next, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start building our shaker parts. This is sticky foam, so I got to be careful with it. Okay, so I think I'm going to want the light colored purple on the top since the rest is the dark colored purple. But I wanted to be able to put the acetate in between two of these just for extra support. And then these will go underneath. So it will all layer up like this. It'll give us extra support. It should be wide enough for the shaker bits. So all we have to do is put those pieces together. I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be because these have a little panel on them and you should be able to stick them together, but holy cow, I'm not really sure how easy that's going to be. I mean, I decided to try it, but I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure how well that's going to go. But we're going to try it anyway. It's very sticky. It's a little bit hard to touch. By the way, happy birthday, Phyllis. Okay, so there I lined up the top part. So far, so good. Looks like it's lining up very, very nicely. So this may be a great way. So I don't know if you guys know, but I buy this foam sheets in 8.5 by 11 and then cut them in half, and I use them when I need large pieces. But it went through the die cut machine and cut out, so it was amazing. And it has sticky on both sides, so you don't have to use the red tape, you know. And what I'm doing is just peeling back this sticky stuff as I go down on each side so that it will line up perfectly. I'm just going to keep going down the edges. It definitely gives you a little bit of time to play with lining them up, so I'm really loving how easily that went together. Then I'm just going to press it together with my soda press to make sure I got it all lined up the way that I want. I think that's going to be perfect. I am very excited about that. Now they're sticky on the back and sticky on the front, so I'm going to peel off this one a little bit, and I'm going to put the dark colored one on top. That way the acetate will be between the paper and not this plastic. Very nice. Well, that went together super good. Okay, this is a really good idea. We need to do this. We need to use these more often because this worked out extremely nicely. I mean, I usually don't try to make my own shaker things like this. I just put a whole lot of this sticky stuff around it because it's just frustrating. But that worked out really nicely. All right, now I need to put one of these panels. I already took the foam off of it. Sorry, I was just wiping it off. And now I'm going to attach this one right here. so that I have my window. So I'm going to use glue for this. I guess I could have put it on the sticky. That probably would have been easier. I'll lay that on top. As soon as I have it lined up, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to press it. My soda press. We're going to give this a little bit of time to dry, and we're going to work on this piece right here that we started with. So I don't really have anything to put on this background except maybe just to show you guys how it works. I'll put this homemade word in there. Maybe on one of the, let's see where she's going to sit. She's going to sit here, so we don't want to put it there. I may have to put it on the front, because this panel will go over that, so that will cover that up. So yeah, we're going to have to put that on the front. Okay, but we can put our bear either on the inside or the outside. Since we want to put homemade on the outside, let's put the bear on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and put her on there. And this is the part, you know how whenever you do shakers, you don't want your shaker bits to get stuck on whatever you put on the inside of your card? This next step is what I learned via Drea by Jennifer McGuire, is to take a second piece of acetate and place it over the image so that when you put the shaker bits in there, they won't get stuck on anything. The only catch to that is making sure that you have some kind of border to go around it, because you're going to put glue on there and you don't want to be able to see the glue through the acetate, which this one has a built-in border that we're going to use anyway around it, so it's going to be great. It's not going to be a problem at all. So I'm going to lay that on there. It's going to look a little messy when we first start out. I'm going to use this to squish it all the way around. Then I'm going to flip it over and squish it from the other side. But I want to make sure I get this in here and see how you can see the glue. Now, Barely Art glue dries clear, so I'm not sure that it would really make all that much of a difference. But just saying, for your purposes, you'll want to make sure you have a border to go around it. We are all October, my family's Joseph Dalmy. Oh yeah, it's everybody's birthday in June. It's my, today is Phyllis's birthday. Phyllis is my mother-in-law. And then the 14th mine, the 17th Dale, his brother's is the 11th. My cousin's is the 10th. My mom's is the 27th. So yeah, there's a bunch. Okay. So this is pretty dry now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the outside piece on here. This is just the other border edge that I want on here. So this piece right here. You can cut as many as you want. Pretty easy. Once you have it on there, just going to press it with the soda press. Make sure I get a good hold on that. Alright, I'm going to give that a little bit of time to dry. We're kind of letting this one finish drying. This is a very stiff, good panel now. And we're going to work on this piece right here. So this is what's going to make it a little, like a little bag. There's a score line here. And there's a score line on the other side, right here. There's one on this one, and there's one on this one, and there's one on this one, and then on the other side. So there's all those. So I'm just going to lay that flat, and we're just going to burnish it with our little soda press. Okay, and then I'm going to open it back up a little bit. There are 2 score lines. There's one here and one here, so we're going to fold this up and burnish that one. And then we're going to fold this side. Now this is the little magic piece that's going to make it into a, so it's going to go like this. That's going to make the space in between the front and the back of the box. I still have 2 of these pieces and one for the back. So I want it to be pretty sturdy because I am actually going to put something inside of this. So I want it to be sturdy. So I'm going to grab my double-sided sticky tape. I have really thin sticky tape here. And I'm just going to put it on each one of these fold-up panels. I hope I'm putting it the right way. Pretty sure this is right. I'll let you know if I mess it up. Paper wizard. Never seen anything like this before. This is the Scrappy Boy die. I see them when I go to the expo and then I buy them and then I'm like, I really need to use them because they're so cool. And it has all the items to make like lemonade or tea or a drink, but I just think that it was so cool. Alright, this is our front panel. It's going to have our shaker bits in it. It's going to go like this. I don't want to put too many shaker bits because, you know, I don't want it to cover up too much of my little bear. But we are going to put some for sure. The good thing is once we put them in there, we can just peel this off and it'll stick. So we won't have to worry too much. So I'm going to take some of these, a whole lot of these shaker bits. I'm going to separate them out just because I don't want them too thick in places. I just want some thin little bit, and I want a bunch of those little white things in there because I really like those. I'm really picky on my shaker bits at the moment. I want the crystallizing looking ones in there the most. So I'm going to kind of pick them out just a little bit. I know, it's a little OCD right here. As people pointed out the other day, I have a little OCD in me. But, you know, that's what I want, is these little white ones. And then there's some little cupcakes and some grapes. Some grapes go really good with the grape jam. So this is a really good, this might be the grapevine shaker bits. Got some happy faces in there and some cute little stuff. I think that's a unicorn. Oh, that's a dinosaur. We have to leave the dinosaur in there because how could you not, right? Alright, so now they're all pretty flat, so they'll shift around in there very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Excellent. Then, because this is the same shape, we should be able to lay it right on there in the right spot. Hopefully. If we have any talent for this. There we go. Perfect. So press those down. Hopefully this is going to look good when we turn it over. We're about to find out. I have a little bit, well, maybe not too many shaker bits, but do you see how easy those shaker bits move around? Because we put that extra piece of acetate in there. I'm telling you, it is genius. That's the best idea I've ever seen. Because I hate when my shaker bits get stuck in there. And these don't. Look at how easy that is. It's amazing. I love it. You guys gotta try it. Gotta try it. Okay. Now I also have, I'm not really sure which direction this goes, but I'm pretty sure it'll line up. Yep, it does. So this will be really cute. Put the little silver at the top. So I'm going to put that on there. And I'm really just going to do it like around the edges. I don't really think I need to necessarily glue it to the acetate. So I'm not going to. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just going to glue it to the edges. And you could if you wanted to, but I don't really think it's necessary. Give it a second. I'm going to hold it there for just a second. Now, if you want, you can put this on the back too. I'm going to do it because I really like it. I did it out of glitter paper, so I think it really gives it a little bit of extra oomph. So I cut out 2 of them so I could put one on the back as well. Let's put together the back seam. So I think I'm going to use this side since it's the back of the jar. I really want this one. I really wanted this one on the outside, but I think it's going to be this one on the outside because it'll match that one. And then the inside of the box will match the purple, the dark purple. So I'm going to attach these 2 together. I just wanted it, you don't have to put 2 layers, but I just wanted it to be like really sturdy for putting stuff into. So I'm just layering it up twice for extra support. So I'm just kind of lining it up so I have a little bit of extra support there. I wanted to put a little bit of decorative on the back, so I chose to use the other side of this paper because that's just, I love that. It's pretty. So I'm going to attach this right here in the center on the back. Now this, I said I wasn't going to put this on paper, like on a card that opens up, and I'm not going to. So I'm going to put this on top. Let's keep going. We got more instructions. So I'm going to put this one on the top. That would be so cool. I want it to be on both sides. Okay. I originally did this to put it on the back as the panel. And I was going to put the boy on here, but I think I might put him on the front. I don't know. I haven't decided where he's going to go yet. But wherever he goes, his cookies are going to go too. I could have put his cookies inside the shaker, but a little late now for that. I wanted him on the back, so maybe I'll just put this as a tag inside when we get done, and we'll put him. If you decorate all these pieces first, then it'll be easier once you put it together for it to be together. So I'm going to use my scissors. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to just cut his hand a little bit so he can hold the cookie. I want him to hold his cookie. So I'm going to cut a little bit further up, like right up underneath where his where his shirt line is. And I'm going to stick his cookie in there. He's got a big cookie. Big cookie. I'm going to put glue underneath his arm so it sticks to the cookie. Perfect. I'm going to put a couple of more cookies over here where he's eating all the cookies. I'm going to put the handmade on here. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't think she needs anything else on the front, so I'm going to put this on the back. Hey, Jana! Welcome, welcome! Alright, so this is going to say handmade, and put it on the back, because most of the time you put the word handmade on the back when you make something. This word is so cute. And then, like I said, the H wasn't attached. I didn't break it, it's just not attached. I'm going to grab my tweezers so I can place this down the right way. Scooch up just a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to glue one cookie on top of the other. Like this. Might move that just a little bit. Then I'm going to attach the cookies on here like this. He's so happy with these handmade cookies from his mommy. We're going to stick him to the back. I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath the cookie and then on the back of the bear. And then we'll place him down here. So the front's going to be cute and the back's going to be cute. So either way you look at it, it's going to be an adorable little container. Okay, now we have our two pieces and we need to attach this piece in order to make it a little, like a little basket, if you will. I'm going to make it a real cup, a real jar. So what I'm going to do is remove the first one in the center. And I'm going to flip this over so I can see where I'm putting it. I'm going to put it close to the bottom, but not all the way down because I don't want it to stick off the edges, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. When these fold over, you don't want to go further than the edge of the jar. Otherwise, it will it'll stick off the edge, and I want it to be kind of hidden in there. Once you have it where you want it to be, then we're going to burnish that in there real good. And then if you put the bottom one in first, it'll make it easier to line up the sides straight. So, I'm going to peel them off one at a time. I'm going to lift this up. I want this to pretty much be straight up. Whoops. So I want it to be like that. Once you get it where you want it, you want to press that down. I'm just using my fingernail. Then on the other side, we're going to take this one off. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up so it's pretty straight. When you get it where you want it, then you just press it down. And then all we have to do is take off the ones from the other side. So now it's all lined up the way it needs to be. We just need to take our tape off. Come on. And now this one. Excuse me. Then we're going to take this little guy, and I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to stand it up and meet them together. Make sure they line up. Want to make sure it stands up. There we go. Once you get it where you want it, then you can stick, excuse me, swallowed wrong, I think. Stick something in there to press that down, or put your hand in there, pressing it on the back panel. And now you can put something in it. Whatever you want. So you have shaker on the front. You have this cute little panel on the back. It's really adorable. It's sealed on the sides, and I used the same paper from here so you could see it. You could put a gift card in there. I'm going to put my little love you very much tag in there, so when I add the little gift that I'm going to give, it'll be in there. My straw is pretty sturdy where it is. It's not too thick, but it's thick enough to do my shaker. And there you go. What do you think about that? Look at that cute, so cute. You can give shaker bits away. You can give whatever you want. Will fit whatever you want to put in there. Here's my little pad goes in there. You can put pens in there. You can put little like chapsticks. It kind of rocks a little bit. You see that? It kind of rocks. Because we didn't put this down too far, so it kind of rocks a little bit. I love that. But you can make a whole bunch of these. Think of how many of these you could make. Hey, Kelly. How are you? So anyway, you can see she's in her little kitchen making her little snacks, her little cookies. So her little guy can eat all the cookies. It says handmade at the top. It's got the glittery top for the jar. Inside you have space. And then we have our little note tag for inside. I mean, you could put it on the outside if you wanted, or you could stick it to the side like that, which I may do. I may like poke a hole in it and stick it there and put a little ribbon on when I give it away. But for now, I'm just going to stick it inside to keep it with it. The insides match. It's super cute. I love it. So again, this is the Scrappy Boy mason jar die set, along with the Mom's Kitchen set and the Homegrown paper pad from Doux Designs. So I hope you guys like that. You could do so much more with this. There's all these additional dies that do all kinds of extra stuff. You got hearts, and I just used the main pieces. I didn't use any of this, but look at the ice cubes. You could cut those in vellum or in acetate and put them in there. That would be so cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you'll try it. I hope you liked it. Look at that. It's so cute. I can't help myself. It's so cute. So it's a lot of fun to make. And I'm going to upload this video to my YouTube, so if you have the die or get the die and you want to run through the instructions again, you certainly can. As soon as I end this video, I'll be doing the upload to YouTube, and then I'll be hopping on over to Happy Crafty Ho Ho for some fun tonight. In addition, don't forget, our new release party is on Saturday. It's a big party. It's on the Happy Crafty Ho Ho channel. We're doing it in collaboration with them. And it's birthday party, new release party, 1 year anniversary of our business party. So it's a big party. There will be giveaways and there will be fun and jokes and laughs, and come join us. Don't forget, and we'll post more about it as we go along this week. There's a teaser out there, so be sure to check that out and see if you have a guess for what the next release is. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was super fun. I'll be back again on Thursday with something new to play around with at 8 Central. So I'm live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 Central. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you guys. And if you're watching this replay on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, because it helps the channel. We hit 500 subscribers, so we're super excited. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on Thursday. Good night.